On October 25th, 1812, the frigate United States was sailing off the coast of Africa. On the morning of October 15th, the ship under the command of Captain Decatur saw a British ship bearing down on it. The American ship had an advantage in the range of its guns, but the British ship was loath to give up the advantage the wind gave it. As the ships approached each other, a long-distance cannonade was begun, with but little effect. For a long groundswell was on, and the ships were rolling in a manner fatal to the aim of the gunners. After half an hour of this playing at long balls, the Englishman's mizzen topmast was shot away, and the cannon-balls from the States whizzed through the rigging and splashed into the water about the Macedonian in a way that proved the American gunners had the range and were utilizing it. Captain Carden soon saw that at long range the American gunners were more than a match for his men, and he resolved to throw prudence to the winds, and, disdaining all maneuvering, bore straight down on the American ship that lay almost stationary on the water, pouring in rapid and well-aimed broadsides. Though a gallant and dashing movement, this course led to the defeat on the British ship. The fire of the Americans was deadly in its aim, and marvelous in rapidity. So continuous was the flashing of the discharges from the broadside ports that the sailors on the Macedonian thought their adversary was on fire and cheered. But the next instant their exultation was turned to sorrow, for a well-directed shot cut away the mizzenmast, which fell alongside, suspended by the cordage. "Huzzah, Jack!" cried the captain of the gun on the United States. "We've made a brig of her." "Aye, aye, my lad," said Decatur, who stood near by. "Now aim well at the mainmast, and she'll be a sloop soon." A few minutes later, the captain shouted to the nearest gunner, "Aim at the yellow streak. Her spars and rigging are going fast enough. She must have a little more hulling." This order was immediately passed along the gun deck, until every gunner was striving his utmost to plant his shot in the hull of the enemy. The effect was terrible. The great missiles crashed through the wooden sides of the English frigate, and swept the decks clear of men. She was coming down on the American bravely, and with manifest intention of boarding, but so skillfully was the United States maneuvered, and so accurate and rapid was her fire, that the Macedonian was unable to close, and was fairly cut to pieces, while still more than a pistol-shot distant. The United States in the meantime was almost unscathed. The aim of the English gunners was usually too high, and such shots as took effect were mainly in the rigging. After pounding away at the Macedonian until the chocks of the forecastle guns on that ship were cut away, her boat cut to pieces, and her hull shattered with more than 100 shot holes, the American ship drew away slightly. The British thought she was in retreat and cheered lustily, but were soon undeceived, for after a little maneuvering, the United States ranged up under her adversary's lee, securing a raking position. Before a broadside could be fired, the British hauled down their flag, and the action was ended, after just an hour and a half of fighting.